the C-suite. Bill George, a professor at Harvard Business School, the former Medtronic chairman and CEO. And we're waiting on Jeff Sonnenfeld, the senior associate dean at the Yale School of Management and a CNBC contributor. Bill, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Carl?
You know what? Page is bound to get some criticism because they tend to hold some numbers close to the vest. Quarter time happens, and the stock and investors are surprised to some degree. Do you blame him for that?
Well, no, I think expectations ran ahead of him here, and I actually admire Larry for not playing the expectation game. If you're a short-term investor, bad news. Long-term investor, this is good news. He increased his operating spending 40% because he's investing in setting the table for the future to take on like a 3 or 4 front war in search and social media and in smartphones. I think he is really making the right strategic moves, Carl. And by the way, he's creating a great culture, and Google is ranked #1 of all companies by Fortune as best places to work. So I think they're doing a lot of things right at Google. And it's just like at Medtronic, Carl. Stocks often run ahead of themselves. Expectations got too high. But Larry showed he's not playing the street game of expectation. Yeah. He's trying to play the long-term game.
Two front wars can be difficult,
yeah.
Bill. I mean, can he do all this at once?
That's the big question. Can he do it all at once, particularly in smartphones? I think Apple has the real jump on him in the cloud. And, you know, he's got 90 million users. I was impressed with that on social media, but still, Facebook has 800 million. That's a long mountain to climb. But I think the bigger question, Carl, is really what's going to be your homepage? Is it going to be Google, kind of a ubiquitous search, or is it going to be Facebook, more of a tailored look at who you want to be there? And I think this is kind of, if you will, the millennials versus Gen X.
Bill, let me interrupt the discussion just briefly and get some breaking news from Kayla Tausche, this time on Talbots. Kayla?
Yeah, Carl, Talbots put itself up for sale last month, and I've learned now that Golden Gate Capital and TPG are among the firms weighing bids for the troubled retailer. That process is set to heat up in the coming weeks, with various private equity and strategic parties taking a look, as always happens in these processes. Now, remember, Talbots late last year turned down an offer of $3 a share from its 9.9% shareholder, Sycamore Partners. The interesting twist here is that Stefan Kaluzny, Sycamore's founder, was also a founding member at Golden Gate before leaving a year ago. Now, Golden Gate has invested in Express, Eddie Bauer, and Jay Jill as far as retail goes, and had previously sought a Talbots takeover while Kaluzny was still there. Now it would be bidding against him. As for TPG, its retail expertise lay in Neiman Marcus and J. Crew, but Carl, because of the financial duress the company has seen, we'll have to wait and see how many bids actually materialize here. Back to you.
Interesting. The M&A and private equity degree of involvement in the past few months, Kayla, in retail has really been surprising.
Well, when you see the stocks trading where they are and how a lot of them have come down as much as 10, 15%, you know, that's when you get a lot of these scavengers coming into the picture.
Kayla, appreciate you bringing that to us. Kayla Tausche reporting on Talbots. Bring you back to what we were talking about, management, with Bill George, and Jeff Sonnenfeld has joined the discussion. Good to see you, Jeff.
Good to see you, Carl. Hi, Bill.
Good. We had talked a little Google. I want to get your take on Microsoft, because we're beginning to hear some things about Steve Ballmer in a good way that we haven't heard in a while.
Well, Bill and I think, I don't speak for Bill, but I believe he's just as high on Microsoft as I am. This has been a company which has been a tremendous generator of revenue. They've had 10 years of basically 11% or so year-over-year growth in revenue. And in EPS, it's been 15%. And something which is really nice, not to disparage the brilliance of Apple, but they're drawing a lot of revenue from 3 products. The genius of Google, it's 90% ad revenue. This is a very widely distributed base of revenue, too, that Microsoft has. And, of course, seeing Xbox jump such a nice big surprise. Yeah. And a lot of good news coming along here with Microsoft. I think quite encouraging.
Bill, how do you play in a new world like mobile and still keep your power base in PCs?
That's the tough question. And I think that's where Microsoft has a real challenge. I think they could be in a cul-de-sac with Office and Windows, Carl, as everything shifts into the mobile market. That's why I'm more inclined. I admire what Steve's trying to get done at Microsoft. He's got a tough problem. I think I'm more inclined towards what Google, Apple, and if you want to jump on the Facebook IPO when it comes out, what they're doing. in the mobile market, because that's where going to be all the action is. And actually underlying that, Apple, Carl, has a brilliant strategy actually of moving people away from PCs into the iPad. And I think the key to the whole thing is going to be the cloud. Who has the best cloud? Where do I want to store my documents? And I was frankly very surprised by Apple's breakthrough, Carl, with GE and getting into the corporate market.
Yeah.
But where do you want to store
we'll see what Apple does with televisions, too. But Apple absolutely does need to diversify their base, and maybe they'll be doing it, but surely Microsoft has had that diversification. But you're right, Bill, as we see with the demise of Kodak and some of these great once genius technology-driven companies that fell back on their laurels, that they have a revolutionary model here, and I believe that they've been changing at Microsoft. Well, surely we have seen that people are getting ready to give Intel up for dead, and they've managed to reinvent themselves with their Ultrabook, and they're not relying on the PC as their future either.
Well, and that looks like it's the next wave, Jeff, because the guidance from Intel on revenue is so aggressive. I mean, a big part of the street this morning does not want to believe it. I wonder if you think, for a company whose guidance has historically been conservative, is Ottolini over his skis here or not?
No, I mean, I think once again, as you can see that, yeah, they missed the moment, as they used to like to talk about their points of inflection under Andy Grove, as they would revolutionize their business and try to wipe out the old, is they certainly had problems in missing the handset cell phone growth in the pad business. But as computing keeps shifting, it's still a moving target here. We remember, as we look at Yahoo imploding, it's only 17 years old. It doesn't take long to become obsolete in the tech business. As these guys keep reinventing themselves, that's what's encouraging. But there's no rest for the weary. Lord North once said, the only vacation I need is a different set of problems. Of course, he lost the American Revolution. But, you need different problems. And these guys do have that luxury of constantly going through that kind of revolutionary reinvention stage. Well, Dell's done it very well, too, as they migrate towards, of course, the cloud.
Yeah. Carl, just a comment. That really is the key. Can you continue to reinvent yourself, or you get stuck in this big revenue model? Like, that was the problem with IBM before Palmisano and Gerstner changed it all around. You get stuck in a big revenue model, and you can find yourself in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. And look at what IBM's done in their movement into developing markets. They're up like 20% in developing markets. They're making more than $40 billion. And, I mean, in some 40 countries, they're up like almost 40%. If you take a look at where the growth is in some of these businesses, in services, of course, with IBM and their analytics business, they're investing in R&D. And by the way, Intel's investing quite a bit in R&D, which is quite impressive right now. So they're showing that they're not really willing to concede the game here whatsoever. They're definitely reinventing and growing and going through leadership succession at the same time. Internal leadership succession, which is remarkable. Yeah. They've been able to have these revolutions. Ottolini, by keeping Craig Barrett on his board, and before that, Craig Barrett had Andy Grove, and you had Noyce and Moore. You can see that charismatic, visionary engineers can succeed each other.
Bill, Jeff, have a great weekend, guys.
Good. Thanks, Carl. You too.
When we come back.